you're not improving in chess, it's probably not even your mistake because a lot of beginner intermediate players fall victim to this trap. And the trap is very bad advice. So if you trust me with like 23 minutes of your time, I will eradicate bad advice out of your mind, put some good advice in it because I will win a central pawn. And a lot of you nerds, beginner, intermediate players will say, you should trade pieces. No, shut up. Hear me out. I will not trade pieces until I have a passed pawn because an extra pawn is awesome, but not a win condition. I'm not winning the game because I have an extra pawn. It can be blockaded, can still be a draw. Nothing happened yet. I can only win the game if I have a passed pawn. So I will try to activate my pieces, and because I have an extra pawn, that's a bit more easy. And then I'll make a pass pawn. And my opponent will resign, by the way. I'll have a extra pawn, use that to win more pawns. I'll go up 3 pawns. My opponent resigns. That's the power of not trading pieces. Keep up the pressure. Make a passed pawn. And if you have a passed pawn, push it, push it. Trade the blockaders while not trading the advancers. Then he will have to sack a piece for the pawn. Now you're up a piece. What do you do now? Win an extra pawn, dummy. Once you have, again, an extra piece and an extra pawn, make a passed pawn. Same cycle again. Push your passed pawn. Make a queen. Checkmate the man with an extra piece and an extra queen. GG, well played. Let's go. So, why is my rating so low? Because I've been playing like trash, basically. And, my opponent just blundered a pawn. Although, I'll calculate it after. Yeah, I've been playing like absolute dog water. And, yeah. So for this game, this is fantastic. My opponent, the d4 player, I play my this thing. And now we're in the Carl, which only e4 players know how to play. And my opponent is very uncomfortable already, I think. So I was thinking about takes. Then I could take with this tempo. That's annoying, but I could take with a check. So I think that works. The thing is that after I take here, this is quite vulnerable. I, by the way, didn't think at all if he could sack. Because after takes, my queen is pinned. But I can take with an attack on the rook. So I don't think it works. Should have calculated that before, but we survive. And now I can take your bishop with a check and make my center incredibly solid. Yes, and now I have a very solid structure, and this is the power of just take your opponents out of their comfort zone. Now probably I play this, he will be trying to be annoying, I'll block him, and I just have an awesome position. That's it. I think I'll put my knight here. He might be annoying and pin me, but I have queen to c7 attacking this. He's preparing to queenside castle, which looks incredibly stupid. I cannot lie. If you're gonna queenside castle, I might even just sack a pawn or attack you instantly. Yeah, that looks logical, but you just did this. I could try this, but after takes and takes, you can slide. I can castle into that. Yeah, that looks good. And if you go backwards, now I can just do my normal plan, and if you take, you just did this, that, this, that. Amazing commentary, amazing arrow drawing. That is why you're here. So we are just in a fantastic position. I have pressure, pressure. Probably this is pressure. Get the bishop out, castle. march him. Yeah, so I could go for this to maybe force this, or I could just play the normal move. Loki, let's go for this. And I might even be able to just annoy him again, even more, which would be fantastic. Yeah, you castle. So takes is met with takes probably, which might be slightly annoying, but should be fine. Hmm. I don't know if I like that. Take, I have the only bishop. And but if I move, that is a big problem. So if I do this and then I could take, get the bishop out, you could kick me around. And then I will have to go here to not block that. I mean, but it's fine. So now I'm threatening to take with castles. So that this is well defended and never a threat. And then I just have a thread in your center. I have a massive center. I could start a majority attack on the queen side. This position should be chilling. If I do this, I force your queen there, I believe. Wow, that looks dumb. Oh, so this was never the plan. Oh, say less, then I'll take for sure. No, taking with the pawn is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, that's just fantastic. And now Mm, I mean, I'm up a pawn and have a bishop for a knight. So that gives me control for this. I could also just move my bishop here, trying to annoy your knight, but your knight cannot go here anyway because I could take and you don't have a check, so everything you do, I can take your queen. Um, so yeah, let's just start marching. This is met with that insane error drawing. I know. So that should be fine. And I just start a majority attack. Create a passed pawn, push my passed pawn. This should be an easy win. I could try to win an extra pawn. Maybe with this and get my rook to d5. Just to make it annoying. Yeah, that's a plan too. Wow. Um, I don't understand the point of that move. I can just take, and now this is another front of attack. Okay, I can just defend. I shouldn't play this fast. I know that for a fact, but I mean, getting a bishop here, maybe winning the pawn. Now I have a passed pawn, and I can still start a majority attack, but now with a 3-on-1 or something. Um, yeah, this looks like a disaster for white. Um, yeah, I don't know what you even do. You just created way more weaknesses for absolutely no reason. I could attack that, but you could just attack me back. So where does your knight go here? Which rook is absolutely useless? I think this one because I could have a plan to move my bishop here and make this pawn break with the pin that the queen is not defended. So I think this rook is more useless. And maybe I even have a plan to play queen to c3. You could intervene. Yeah, that's annoying. Switch shouldn't work yet. But I mean, still an awesome plan. Oh yeah, that's smart. Just preemptively. So still this is met with f4. I could just rotate in, right? How do you punish that? How do you defend this? Going back? I don't think so. And I don't think you're starting an attack soon. You could try, to be fair. Because my bishop doesn't really have a good point of entry because you can always kick it. So you just give up. Okay, that was like 11 minutes. So I mean, this is how you win in 20 moves in the Corocom. Let's analyze the game. Because it's only 11 minutes, I'll do it in one video. My opponent plays d4. I mean, I'll have a separate opening analysis, which you probably already saw. So let's go through these moves. Yeah, take. Knight take isn't the most accurate because of c4. Okay, that's some weird line. Uh, Apparently I shouldn't even take, but taking it's fine. This is the best move. I'm already completely winning. Knight out is the best move. That's the best move. Second best move. And I blunder a tactic. Cool. Yeah, this pawn is just completely overloaded. Wow. I am incredibly dumb. Take. And I'm just losing. Not losing, but okay, I'm just incredibly dumb. Cool. I blunder the same tactic again. He doesn't see it again. And now I take. So my thoughts here were that I want to take, but then you will have pressure with your queen on this. That's why I first developed. Now the problem is that after takes and takes, I open up your rook and your queen, so I shouldn't move my bishop again to defend this twice. Then I could castle and it's defended twice again, so then it's fine. You move the rook, so now I can just take because there's nothing opening up. You do have pressure here, but I can just castle. There's nothing. That's the best move, to be fair. And yeah, I just take space and start my majority attack. And this is absolutely trash. Probably my opponent thought he was some type of GM and damaged my structure, but this is still an awesome structure to play. Yeah, I should have defended like this. My queen shouldn't go head first into this defended pawn. That's stupid. So should have found this. Bring my rook to the open file, push this pawn, push it again, make this pawn break, take. If I can win this back, now this is a passed pawn, this is a passed pawn, just awesome position. I should have solved this. The engine even wants to just sag because after takes, I can attack the knight, which can just go back, and now I can attack it again. So you have to move, and then I win this pawn, and now my structure is better because I traded these pawns off, and now I can still make a majority deck. And I have a passed pawn, so that's that. So really, we'll scroll back and go, let's say I didn't blunder, right? So we just have the opening, that's whatever. My opponent didn't play it too accurately. So what do you do from here? Develop. Again, what do you do? I make a lift for the future, by the way, and either you take, which I want you to do, or you move. I will move, and then you could take, and you even wasted another move. So that's just a little maneuver. You don't have to see those maneuvers, but it just wins a tempo. So now he did this, that, and this. Absolutely expensive bishop. Getting the bishop from here to that square cost him 4 moves for absolutely no reason. Expensive bishop. So I just developed my knight again. He has a blundered we both didn't see. Now I thought I could trade my quite cheap knight. It's only 2 tempo for his incredibly expensive bishop. So that will win me another 2 tempo because this knight cost me 2 tempo, this bishop cost him 4 tempo, and now we just traded off. So I just win 2 extra tempos because of that. So this bishop is incredibly expensive. It is only staring at a pawn. My knight is a bit stronger, but I calculated that after takes and takes, this is quite troublesome to deal with. So I develop first and just keep developing. If you don't know what to do, just keep developing, keep activating pieces. He moved his rook, and now I thought, okay, so now is the perfect time, right? The engine says this is fine. So I trade his bishop for my knight, which is usually a beneficial trade, especially because the board is quite open. It's not the most open board, but I'm marching my pawn. So I prefer a bishop from the other side of the board somewhere than just a knight. So I just castle to save the pawn. And now we are out of the end game. And now you have to find a plan. And this is where a lot of lower people struggle. So I will put a lot more emphasis on it. So first of all, the engine says this, just an improving move. Activating the king. The engine says this. That's because it wants to go this way to activate the bishop. And the engine says push these 3 pawns. Why? Because we are only up 1 pawn. That's something very important because, okay, what is this pawn doing? Absolutely nothing. So this is our extra pawn and it's not worth anything. How do we make this pawn worth something? By trading these 2 pawns. Now it's a passed pawn. That's permanent pressure. If we could, by the way, just get a attack going and get to some position like this, for example, where the queen doesn't see uh oh yeah, let's say like this. So let's say a position like this, right? So we advanced and we support it. Now we can get this pawn break, take. Now this is just a permanent passed pawn, which we are already pushing. So the knight has to leave. We can bully the knight again. We can push it again. And this is just an awesome position because this pawn is incredibly strong. And now all of a sudden, this extra pawn gives us the space to activate a piece. So we activate all of our pieces. We see we have an extra pawn. So what do? We will attack with the pawns on the side where we are stronger, where our extra pawn is, make our extra pawn a passed pawn, push the passed pawn so that it's incredibly powerful and just a headache. And now we can use the space generated because all of these squares are basically under our control except for this one. Because our pawn is this far and the rook is just having to stop it, now we have an awesome rook against this horrible rook. The pawn takes away some squares, so this rook is absolutely dog water. We can activate our other rook to here, for example, and just bully the pawns, activate our pieces behind the pawn. And this is exactly what you have to do. So if you struggle with middle games and you get to a position like this, which is just some opening theory, which is just my course. Well, now what do? We have a stronger queen side, so let's push the pawns. That's how you see it. So that's exactly what I do. My opponent immediately tweaks. I don't know why. I just take that. And now my plan, if he were to do absolutely nothing, let's say he just defends the pawn passively, push the pawn. Let's say we just shuffle with the queen without blundering that, push this pawn. Let's say he defends it again. Um, I could reinforce this so that after this pawn break, my queen isn't hanging. You could defend this. I could activate with my pawns because my pawns are this far. My pieces can go far. He has to activate. I can activate again. Always look for piece activation. Always. Activate the rook. If you take, all right, now I have an awesome structure again. I could do this, take, 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 take. Now I have two passed pawns. I could just march the passed pawns. This is again completely winning just because of that. So my opponent does this weird thing, pressures my pawn. Here I go in the mist. I defend my pawn with a pawn. That's dumb. I should have defended the pawn with my queen, attacking this, keeping an eye on this so I could still march my pawns. And I didn't see that. And probably my rook wants to go on the open file to take control over these two squares so I could land a rook on it. So that's a massive blunder on my side. I should have put my queen here. That was way better and very findable if I spend a bit more time. So now you develop, I develop, easy. You develop, and I develop to the completely wrong square. But to be fair, the only move to be 3.9 is king here, which makes no sense. If you defend the pawn, for example, I can just develop. You just shuffle. I develop. You try to attack me. That's just the free knight. If you take, I could take attacking the rook, and now I control this, so that's not a good attack. And it's already over. So I mean, that's just a very easy middle game plan. We have an extra pawn on the queen side. Push this, keep the mobile, activate pieces. I'm sure you learned a lot because this is just a middle game master class, to be fair. So subscribe if you don't want to miss out on these tips. I hope you like and subscribe. Let's go. Good win. I'll see you in the next one.